Hey Steelers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to today's Steelers Talk video on the eve of the very first preseason game. Yes, we are one day away from the Hall of Fame game tomorrow night, which is Thursday, well, unless you're watching this on Thursday, so I guess tonight. Either way, we're watching it today on Wednesday when we're filming, or Thursday, doesn't matter. Hall of Fame game is coming, and we need to get into the 5 players that you most have to keep your eyes on, right? The 5 biggest guys to keep your eyes on in this first preseason game. Now, it is one of 4 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so, how much will people actually play? Obviously, no Big Ben, not all the starters are going to be out there, but there are still 5 players you must keep an eye on, and we're going to give you those 5 here, starting with Kendrick Green, the rookie third-round draft pick out of Illinois, who will be getting the start at the center position, of course, due to the injury happening earlier this offseason. But I think it's going to be an interesting thing. One, how much will Kendrick Green actually play, because he's the starter, and so you don't want starters to play forever, but he's also a rookie, and so he needs to get in there and get some big game reps. Listen, Green's had a pretty darn good training camp so far. People are pretty excited about his ability, and they see the injury to his predecessor as really an opportunity for him to win the starting job. And so I think you're going to see him out there for probably the first half would be my guess. Now, again, can they change that and make him play a couple of series or the entire game or whatever it is? Yes, but I do think you need to see Kendrick Green out there for a decent amount of time, just because rookies need reps, whether you're a starting center or you're a backup cornerback or whatever it is. Rookies need reps in preseason games. That's why you have preseason games. And so Kendrick Green is the first to go on our list of 5, because he is going to be out there and trying to show that the Steeler offensive line is going to be better than what people are thinking it is going to be. As we talked about Pro Football Focus, ranking them the 31st best, meaning the second worst offensive line in the National Football League. I disagree with that. I think a big reason why is because of Kendrick Green. I'm excited to see him play for the first time in a Steeler uniform here on Thursday night. All right, before we go and get into the next 4, who is a player you want to keep an eye on for the Hall of Fame game? Give me that name down below right now in the comment section. Your player to watch is, who it is for the Hall of Fame game. Mine are going to be the next 4 that you see in the 5 we just mentioned, Kendrick Green, but give me yours down below right now. All right, next on our list here, we have to get into Antoine Brooks, who, of course, is, another young guy who's going to be trying to go ahead and win the starting nickel job. They basically said he's going to have the starting nickel job as long as he doesn't struggle at all in preseason. And so you're going to see Brooks out there a lot tomorrow night, as well with the rest of training camp, as he tries to fill and take over that Mike Hilton role, which the Steelers desperately need him to be good at. I mean, the whole idea that Brooks is going to solidify the nickel slot is going to hopefully elevate the secondary from a cornerback perspective a lot higher than people were hoping that it would be. We thought they could go out and make a trade, maybe for Xavier Howard, maybe they would sign back Steven Nelson. None of these things happen, and so you have Hayden and Cameron Sutton and Antoine Brooks as your your top 3 cornerbacks, with Brooks being the starting nickel guy. Much like with Kendrick Green, Brooks needs reps, and he had a very, I'd say, up and down with mostly downs rookie season, and so I'd expect him to have a couple of series tomorrow night and hopefully play a lot during the preseason to solidify and show that he's ready to go ahead and win and take over the nickel cornerback job. I feel confident in him, but I'm excited to see what he's able to do here on Thursday night if he gets to play a little bit more than we are expecting. All right, before we go ahead and get into the quarterbacks, because obviously those are people you got to keep an eye on, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We approach 3,500 subscribers on what is we are growing crazy fast, which I appreciate, by the way. So if you're brand new, you like the Steelers, you like to be up to date with everything going on with them, go down below and hit the red subscribe button. We're at 3,151 subscribers. It's a crazy number. So help us out. Go down below and subscribe. All right, our next player on the list is 2 players combined into 1, because they're essentially the same player for the same position. Not really, but you get my point. Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph, these are really the 2 guys you got to keep an eye on here on Thursday night, because they're in one of the most clear battles that you can really follow and track throughout the entire preseason. Now, Rudolph will get the start. We know Big Ben Roethlisberger there on Thursday night, not a surprise there, but Rudolph is expected to have a couple of series, maybe the first quarter. It's kind of like up in the air on how he's going to look. Then you're going to go ahead and get Dwayne Haskins there to end the first quarter, or the first half, I should say. And then it will be Josh Dobbs to go ahead and clean things up for the third and fourth quarter, respectively. Listen, I've said this multiple times this week. I'll say it again. Rudolph has struggled in training camp. Haskins has struggled because he's not that great of a player, but he's been a lot better than Mason Rudolph and has started to split second-team reps overall in training camp, something that was not happening as early as last week. And so the expectation is Rudolph starts, Haskins gets the second-team reps, and then you get Dobbs with the third. But if Haskins plays good enough, and you'll be able to see it because he'll be the quarterback, you get to watch it the entire game, you could see him kind of elevate himself to the number 2 quarterback as early as the second preseason game, because, of course, the Steelers have 4 versus the rest of the league that has 3 because of the Hall of Fame game. So this is really the battle. This is truly the battle to go ahead and keep an eye on, at least one that you can really witness, right? Because you can talk about, cornerback battles and pass rusher battles, but really, the guy who touches the football every single snap is the quarterback, and so that's what we're keeping an eye on, obviously, on our list here. We combine them together, Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph. They have a lot of I'd say pressure on these preseason games because you can do well in training camp and in practice, but if you go into a preseason game and you stink against the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles or whoever it is whenever you play in training camp, then your chances of being the number 2 guy, obviously, they diminish. All right, before we go ahead and get into our next player, what's your hype level for the Hall of Fame game tomorrow? Like, it's one, it's a preseason game, so it's not that exciting. But 2, it's a preseason game, and it's the first preseason game, and your Steelers play, so you got to be a little bit hyped, right? So give me your hype level for the Hall of Fame game on a scale from 1 to 10. I'm pretty hyped. Like, I'm at like an 8. Like, I just can't wait to have football on my TV on NBC. I mean, it's as good as it gets, in my opinion, just to kind of start the new season. So give me your hype level right now for the Hall of Fame game. Scale 1 to 10 down below in the comment section. All right. Let's go and jump into number 4, who almost didn't make this list until the announcement yesterday that Najee Harris will play in not just the Hall of Fame game tomorrow, but in all 4 preseason games. We talked about earlier this week how Najee Harris wanted to play in the Hall of Fame game, and he wanted to get as many game reps as possible to get him up to game speed, because the speed from playing at Alabama versus the speed from playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers is a big difference and a big gap. Regardless of how great Alabama is and how many star players they have, it is still a big difference to go from being a college running back to being an NFL running back. But the question was, will they actually let their first-round draft pick, 24 overall, play in the preseason at all? And I was like, well, they should, but how much will they let him out there? And it's been said that he's going to play tomorrow night. Now, does that mean he's going to play the full first half? Probably not. I think he's going to get 1 or 2 series and probably 5 or 6 or 7 carries. I mean, it's going to be a very limited workload, but it's exciting that, one, you get to see the first-round draft pick on the football field tomorrow, but not just tomorrow, the rest of the preseason. And so I think he'll be worked up, as you'd expect a lot of the other young guys to, where you play a little bit in the first game and a little bit more in the second game, and then you play a lot in the third game. That's your dress rehearsal, and then taper back there in the fourth game. But you will see Najee Harris out there. That, to me, is very, very exciting. I'm pumped to be able to just see what he's able to do, because this is a guy who, I mean, was drafted to be the number 1 back. I mean, this is supposed to be the replacement to essentially Le'Veon Bell. No offense to, obviously, the running backs that come post Le'Veon Bell, but this is really supposed to be your workhorse, your bell cow. You spent a first-round draft pick on him. I'm pumped to see what Najee Harris is able to do. He's one of my players to watch, one of my big players to watch here on the list. Final player on the list who's questionable going into tomorrow night's game, but I expect him to go ahead and play, is Pat Freiermuth, who, of course, comes in as the number 2 tight end, as he's not going to be the number 1 tight end behind Eric Ebron, but Eric Ebron's not going to play a lot in preseason, and so Freiermuth is going to have his chance to show what he's made of and why the Steelers made him a high draft pick from a tight end perspective. I mean, Mike Tomlin makes fun of him a lot. He gets picked on in practice a lot because, not a great blocker, and so it's like, can you be a better blocker? We know you can catch passes, but you're a tight end, so you got to be able to do both. But I'm just excited to see what he's able to do by both perspectives in the preseason game. How's his catching ability? How's his run blocking game? Because he's going to be out there, presumably, as your number 1 tight end tomorrow night, alongside Mason Rudolph and Najee Harris and the ones on the offensive line, and it'll be a good indicator to see how ready to rock he is, not just tomorrow night, but the rest of the preseason as well. Though in the Hall of Fame game, I'm really pumped to see what Freiermuth is able to do, and I think that we're going to see a lot. I think that they're going to target him a lot, especially if you're Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph. You don't talk about a safety blanket. Someone you work with a lot, running with the twos. It's Freiermuth. I'm excited to see him. I think you guys are as well. Of course, those are our 5. I mentioned Kendrick Green, Antoine Brooks, Dwayne Haskins, Mason Rudolph combined into 1. Najee Harris and Pat Freiermuth, all leading into the Hall of Fame game happening tomorrow night. I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern time on NBC. You'll be watching. I'll be watching. We'll break it down. It's going to be a lot of fun overall. I'm just excited to have football back on the TV screen, but it's also, again, important to note, there are people to watch. And even if you are not a big preseason guy, this is a Steeler team that, yes, is still very much ready to win, and win right now. They don't have a lot of holes, but where they do have holes, you have pretty wide open competition. If you don't have competition at, say, running back, you have a rookie running back in Najee Harris who, you really want to watch and see what he's able to do. So enjoy the game tomorrow night, but keep an eye on these players, as this is what preseason is all about. It's guys battling to make positions. It's guys battling to win different spots and prove that they're able to make the roster, or if you're in Pat Freiermuth's instance, you're going to go ahead and prove that you were worthy of an early draft pick, as you saw in the April 2021 NFL draft. So again, Cowboys, Steelers, go Steelers, beat those darn Cowboys. No Dak Prescott tonight, won't be a big deal. You get Ben DiNucci, I think he'll be the quarterback, but either way, it's just going to be fun to have, oh my goodness, to have football back on our TV screens. It's going to be good. From now until the Super Bowl, we're going to have football every single weekend, whether it's college or pro. I'm pumped for that. I know you guys are too. All right, ultimately, have a day here on our Pittsburgh Steelers Talk video getting ready for, of course, the Hall of Fame game. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed. We want 5K. We're at 3K right now. Help us get to 3,500, and then on to 4K, and then 5K subscribers. Help us grow this channel as quickly as possible, because I know you guys enjoy it, and of course, we love making videos for you guys to enjoy it for free. All right, again, ultimately, have a day here on our Pittsburgh Steelers Talk video. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.